எல்லே இளங்கிளியே இன்னும் உறங்குதியோ சில்லென்றழையன்மேல் நங்குநீர் போதருகின்றேன் வல்லை உன் கட்டுரைகள் பண்டே உன் வாய் அரிதும் வள்ளீர்கள் நீங்களே நானேதான் ஆயிடுக ஒல்லை நீ போதாய் உனக்கென்ன வேறுடையை எல்லாரும் போந்தாரோ போந்தார் போந்தெண்ணிக்கொள் வல்லானை கொன்றானை மாற்றாரை மாற்றழிக்க வல்லானை மாயனை பாடேலோர் எம்பாவாய். गुष्यते यस्य नगरे रङ्गयात्रा दिने दिने तमहं शिरसा वन्दे राजानां कुलशेखरं कुम्भे पुनर्वसु जातं केरले चोलपट्टने कौस्तुभानां धराधीशां कुलशेखरम् आश्रये. This beautiful Mukunda Māla, which has 40 slokas, has 10 parts. The first part, where Āḻvār is praying to be blessed to chant Krishna's names. Then in the second part, that is second sloka, he prays for the victory and protection of the Lord. And in the third part, that is sloka number 3 to 8, he prays that he never forgets the lotus feet of the Lord. And in the fourth part, that is sloka number 9 and 10, he describes the beautiful transcendental form of the Lord, which can be our object of meditation. And part number 5, that is sloka 11, 12, and 13, it is only Krishna who can be our protector. No one else can be our savior. And in part number 6, which is what we are going to enter into, is praying to Krishna, give that bhakti. Yesterday, we saw that how Āḻvār is praying, telling the mind that not to be bewildered, being anxious of constantly thinking that how am I going to cross this bottomless, difficult material existence, the osha, saṃsāra. There's one who can save us, and that is our boat, our bhakti towards Krishna. That boat is bhakti. By performing bhakti towards the lotus eye Sarasija Drishi Deve, to him, that Naraka Bhidi, the killer or destroyer of Naraka, will be able to save us very easily, effortlessly. Bhavajalatim agatim dushtaram nistareyam katamahamiti cheto masmagha kataratvam Sarasija Drishi Deve Dhavaki Bhakti Reka Naraka Bhidi Nishanna Trayasyatyavashyam. Now, after saying this one, bhakti, now that we know bhakti is the bhakti that we can do it by ourselves, or even that has to be given to us by someone. The answer is, it has to be given to us by someone. Yes, bhakti is there within us, but it has to be awakened. In other words, you have to picturize this whole thing as we are receiving that bhakti from someone. So that using this bhakti, called the boat bhakti boat, we can cross this ocean easily. And that is a prayer for sloka number 14 and sloka number 15, where the bhakti also, Krishna, you give it to me, because my bhakti is chanchala bhakti. It is not fixed bhakti. Therefore, I want a bhakti where I can think about it constantly without any difficulties, even though I am in the difficult situation in this world, in the samsara. But when I have your bhakti boat, then all the problems that I'm facing can be considered insignificant. Therefore, I need the bhakti. Please give me bhakti. And that's going to be today's sloka. tṛṣṇā-tōyē madana-pavanoddhūtamōhōrmimālē dārāvartē tanayasahajagrāhasaṃghākulē saṃsārākhyē mahati jaladhau majjatāṃ nastridhāman pādāmbhōjē varada bhavatō bhaktināvaṃ prayaccha. Now he is praying, Krishna, please give me that bhakti boat. O Lord of the three worlds, I am drowning in this ocean of samsara, which is filled with deep water with heavy waves. And these waves are the illusion that creating my desire to enjoy and be in this world. And not only that, if the wave is normal, that's fine. If the ocean is normal, it's fine. It has this whirlpools And not only whirlpools, and there are sharks and crocodiles and heavy sea monsters in this ocean in the name of wives, sons, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, and so forth. So many this sea animals are there. So, my dear Lord, send me the boat, send me the boat, send me the boat quickly so I can jump onto the boat and come to your lotus feet. That is the sloka. tṛṣṇā-tōyē madana-pavanoddhūtamōhōrmimālē dārāvartē tanayasahajagrāhasaṃghākulē excuse me, saṃsārākhyē mahati jaladhau majjatāṃ nastridhāman pādāmbhōjē varada bhavatō bhaktināvaṃ prayaccha. Now let's see the word by word. tṛṣṇā. tṛṣṇā means thirst, or being thirst to drink water, or having desire. tṛṣṇā means desire. tṛṣṇā means thirst. Toyam means again water. Patram, pushpam, palam, toyam. So the toyam means water. Madana means madana, Cupid, the god of karma. Cupid, madana. Pavana, the winds. Uddhūta means tearing away. It's just coming so fast. And the moha, illusion, urmi of the waves, male, in rows. The waves are not coming one and then after 5 minutes another waves comes. No, it comes in rows continuously and just pushing me in all different directions. tṛṣṇā-tōyē madana-pavana-uddhūtamōhōrmimālē. Tṛṣṇā, desire, that's water is the ocean of desire. Kama is the wind. You have to picturize this one. The desire that we have are like waves in the water, and the water filled with our desire, and the wind, it comes as a kama, and it's just driving us in all different directions. Therefore, it's making it very difficult for me to swim in this ocean to cross over to the other side of the ocean. As long as we have this moha, the delusion, because of our attachment, we will not be able to get rid of this world. And that is what being mentioned here. tṛṣṇā-tōyē madana-pavanoddhūtamōhōrmimālē. In the water of desire, tossed by the winds of lust, filled with waves of delusion. How beautifully is this picturizing this whole thing of what we are all going through has been picturized in this particular sloka. So this is pulling. How is it being pulled? Before we get into the second line of this sloka, if anyone is hearing Mukunda Māla for the first time online, this is being recorded, and you've been hearing for the first time, all of a sudden you're clicking this and want to hear this sloka, my request is kindly go back to the 12th sloka. That's an introduction of what's going to be told here in this 14th sloka. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult. Okay, let's with that disclaimer, we'll proceed. That is dārāvartē. Tara means wife. Dara means wife. Dhara means star. Dhara means wife. Avartē. The dārāvartē means wife is picturizing. Āḻvār is picturizing wife as a whirlpool. Whirlpool, once you get stuck into the whirlpool, you cannot come out. What is it called? There's also called quicksand, right? Quicksand. When you put your foot on the quicksand, the more you try to come out, the more you go inside. That's what they say. I never had that experience. I won't be speaking today otherwise if I had that experience. Therefore, whirlpool is the same thing. Once you put your foot inside, there's no way you can come out. You just have to surrender. And who is that whirlpool? According to Kulashekara, it's a wife. Now, please, I'm not telling this one. Āḻvār is telling. Those are women, Matajis, ladies. Now they can consider husband to be the whirlpool. So no problem. You can say he's from a male body is talking this one. So you please consider this to be on a female body, and then you take this husbands are the whirlpool. No problem for me. I have no issues with that one. Dārāvartē, husband, wife as a whirlpool. Tanaya means of the son. Sahaja means brothers, relatives, whomever you name. All the extended family and immediate family, extended family, all this family, all the different types of families are there, right? Immediate family, our own family members, and extended family, relatives, friends, all those. Sahajagraha. Now, what he's telling is wife as a whirlpool. And now son, daughter, brother, relatives, sister, graha sangha. Graha sangha means they are all crocodiles. So when you call your uncle or your brother next time, you tell, hello, crocodile, how are you doing? And they'll cut the phone, and that's it. That will be the last call that we can have with our sister, brother, or anyone that for that matter. But don't do that one. That's why I told, please listen to the 12th sloka. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to digest what's been told by Āḻvār in this one. What he's saying is pratikula kutumbam. He's not talking about anukula kutumbam. Anukula kutumbam means favorable family. They are all wonderful. Then the family is not unfavorable. The father is telling, oh, my parents are thinking my son or daughter is in America. Let's pull as much as possible. Drain money from them. And brother is wanting to, my dear brother, I don't have money. I have to pay this one. Can you send me 10,000 rupees? So these are things happens. We know these things are happening. So these are all not anukula. But of course, we again, do not mistake me. We have to help the family members. But when the family member takes advantage of the person who's helping, that's where the problem comes. That's where the problem comes. So there's a limit for everything, right? So one should not take advantage of this one. Anyway, you all know, I'm not going to get into the picturizing, giving a movie of what's happening in the world. We all know what's going on. So we have to be careful with how we help, whom we help, and what limits and line we have to draw a line, where to draw the line. We should know all those things. So dārāvartē, tanayasahajagrāhasaṃghākulē. Saṃghākulē means not one crocodile, not one shark. Saṃghākulē means just even with one thing we cannot escape. There's a brother coming, there's a sister coming, there's an uncle coming, there's a father coming, this person coming, that father coming. So many people are coming. They're all crocodiles and sharks. And I have to tell this one, my attraction to the Krishna consciousness when I was a student doing my education, the very first lecture that I heard was Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, the forest of material existence. I must have told this multiple times. I know you're laughing, that means I'm told several times. So, forest of material existence. This picturizes how dangerous this family is, and brothers and sisters. And I was only, my family was good family, no problem at all. Please do not think that I was terrible, Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad like family. No, everything was nice. But I was thinking, oh, this is what the family is, this is how the relatives are, this is how the friends are. And that's where I started attending more Bhagavatam class and my interest increased. So this sloka, I can easily connect to that one. dārāvartē tanayasahajagrāhasaṃghākulē. There, this person is overwhelmed by continuous torture and torments of brothers and sisters and sons and daughters and wives, overwhelmed, troubled constantly. I want this, get me this one, be like this one. This is another one. There are people who does not ask anything, but they want you to be the way that they want it. That's another torture. That's another torture. These people not interested in any material thing. You give gift, you don't give gift, it doesn't matter. But you have to be the way that I want to be. That's another problem that we cannot be like that, right? But that's another problem. So this is all different types of problem we see in this world. Therefore, what we have to do is we have to understand, we have to make sure our kutumbam is anukulya kutumbam. That's favorable kutumbam. If there's no favorable, if it's not favorable, then it's very difficult. What maximum we can do is give good advice and move on with our life. We don't get stuck in the whirlpool. Otherwise, we are gone. So we pray for them, we help them, we take a responsibility at whatever our position as husband, wife, or whatever position we take, we help them, but we be completely detached in such a way that they are on their own, I am on my own, where to go, achieve my goal. But sometimes this happens naturally. Sometimes this happens after we get a slap on our face. It could happen. There was a great sage by name Bilvamangal Thakur. Great, wonderful Krishnamritam. So he's written a beautiful poems also. So anyway, so he was attracted to a woman. Being born in a very cultured Brahmana family, he got attracted to a woman, not married, some woman. And then he was constantly going to that lady, spend the night and get up in the morning and come to back to his house. So this is what going on and on and on and on and on for pretty much regular. It became a regular routine for him to go and spend time with this lady called Chintamani, who's not, doesn't have one husband. She has many husbands without marriage, unofficially. So Chintamani. So she was satisfying him. But one particular day, it happened in such a way that there was a heavy storm, thunder, and the whole area was getting flooded. But he could not stop meeting her, wanting to go see her, be with her that night. And in that heavy storm, heavy rain, somehow or the other, he tried to cross and go to that lady's house. On the way, he was feeling like he was drowning. He caught hold of a log and then he somehow swam across. And then when we reached the house, he don't know how to get, because it's because of the thunder and heavy rain, the knocking the door is not, she's not able to hear. So he thought there's a rope hanging down. Somehow he caught hold of the rope and climbed up. And finally he stood in front of her, happily seeing her and smiling at her. And then Chintamani looked at this man. She got shocked. How can anyone take a risk in their life to come out of the house in this situation? You're going to die. And then when she saw outside, she saw the one that he thought he caught hold of the log and came. That's not a log, it's a dead body. Dead body on the floating. He thought it's a log and holding to that one because he was in delusion. Moha. He was in a delusion. And when he came to the house, he thought that a rope is hanging there to catch hold. It was a snake. It was a snake. Somehow he climbed up. Finally, Chintamani said, if at all you had a little bit of this sincerity, this much of commitment to Krishna, you would have been a great devotee. Instead of me, if you have such a determination to attain Krishna in this manner, then you would have been a great devotee. This is all she said. And that stuck in his head, mind. Because sometimes we ask, Prabhu, why do we have to listen to lecture every day? Every day you're talking about the material ocean existence. Now you're even getting problem into my family, telling wife is a whirlpool, such children are crocodiles. So I have to now see my son as a crocodile, daughter as a shark. What are you talking? Every day we keep hearing these things. Why? Because it's important that we hear every day. We don't know when that one day is coming to wake us, our consciousness. One day will come. We don't know that will knock or slap on our face. Hey, get out. Enough. This is enough. We never know. So for example, it's given that right now, there is a signal everywhere, right? Where you're sitting, where I am sitting, everywhere there's a signal going on. There is a FM1, FM2, AM, there's different channels are going. But I don't have a radio with me, then I cannot hear to that FM. If the channel people say, whenever you buy radio, that time we'll broadcast the message. That's not going to happen. The message has to be broadcasted continuously because those people, the channel people, don't know when they are going to get the person to hear their channel. Right? Therefore, it's not that they have to wait until I buy a radio system. The message has to be broadcasted continuously. We don't know who's going to hear, when they're going to hear, what is going to happen to them. Therefore, this Bhagavad Katha, like this Mukunda Māla, all these things continuously we have to keep hearing. Message has to, even if you don't have audience here, we have to keep speaking. That's another thing for the speaker. Speaker cannot tell, I'll only want 100 people to attend this call. Then I will give a lecture. No, we don't know. We continue speaking Krishna Katha. One day or the other, who knows who's going to hear this and get realized one part of the time. We don't know. Like that Bilvamangal Thakur, it happened that one day. Then he left, he became very serious, very serious. So, dārāvartē tanayasahajagrāhasaṃghākulē. And please remember the 12th sloka when we quoted Āḻvār பாசனம். நல்ல கோட்பாட்டுலகங்கள் மூன்றின் உள்ள தான் நிறைந்த அல்லி கமலக்கண்ணனை அந்தன் குருகூர் சடகோப்பன் சொல்லப்பட்ட 10,000த்துள் இவையும் 10ம் வல்லார்கள் நல்ல பதத்தால் மனை வாழ்வார் கொண்ட பெந்தீர் மக்களே. This is the last line is very important. நல்ல பதத்தால் மனை வாழ்வார் கொண்ட பெந்தீர் மக்களே means when you have a favorable family, then everything goes nicely. If you're not having favorable family, then life makes it very difficult. When you have a favorable family, then make sure that is your satsangam. You don't need to go and look for any satsangam outside. Unless until your family is not sat, asat, then you have to look for satsangam outside. If your family is sat, then you have a devoted husband, not devoted husband means to you. Devotee husband, sorry, not devoted husband. Devotee husband can also be devoted husband. That's another reason. There's nothing wrong in being devoted husband. Devoted wife, devoted children, devotee children. So it's nice. Satsangatve nissangatvam. Nissangatve nirmohatvam. Nirmohatve nischalatatvam. Nischalatatve jivan muktihi. This is Adi Shankaracharya. He says, Satsangam. Satsangatve nissangatvam. When we have satsanga, good satsanga, when we have a good family, what increases is not attachment. Please understand. We may be wondering what? When you have a good family, attachment should increase. No, when we have a good family, detachment should increase. It's quite opposite. Because everyone is devoted. Everyone is devoted. Their focus is Krishna, not just us. Keeping Krishna, every one of the family members are taken care. Therefore, satsangate nirsangatva means from the satsanga comes non-attachment, detachment. From non-detachment comes what? Nissangatve nirmohatvam. When detachment goes away, delusion goes away. The cause of delusion, moha, is just because that we are attached to things. When we are attached to things, we get delusion. When the attached things lives, we are happy. When the attached thing disappears from our vision, we get depressed because of delusion. Nirmohatve nischala tattvam, which leads to what happens is due to the satsanga, non-attachment happens. Because of the non-attachment, we are being free from the delusion. When we become free from the delusion, then we are able to think about a self. Make sense? It's like a step process. Right? It's nirmohatve nischala tattvam. Nischala tattve jivan mukti. What happens at that point of time when you become self-realized? Then that makes us qualified to jivan mukti, to attain mukti. When we have a family in Krishna consciousness, then that helps us to be detached. Please listen carefully. When we have a family in Krishna consciousness, that helps us to be detached. From that detachment, how does the family in Krishna consciousness help us to be detached? How is that? Because when things happen, the other spouse or family member, don't worry, Krishna is there. Krishna will take care. It's okay. If this is not there, that is there. Don't be attached to this one. It's happened all for your good. Maybe something is better is coming up. Krishna has a plan for you. You see how many times Krishna, 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 Krishna has been told. Right? Therefore, we are getting attached to Krishna. When you have a Krishna conscious family, that helps us to become detached. This detachment, once we have detachment, then we become free of the delusion. When we become free of the delusion, then we are able to focus on Krishna consciousness, focus on ourselves, and that focus makes us qualified to get mukti. What happens if the family is not in Krishna consciousness? The same sequence. What happens is quite dangerous. When our family members are not in Krishna consciousness, then that leads us to, over there, detachment. Exactly. Over here, attachment. So some of you are watching online. I don't know how this is being projected. If you're only seeing my face, you must be wondering, what am I saying? You're laughing. Sometimes I'm calling out names. Am I gone crazy or anything? No. In my screen, I'm able to see some participant over here. They turned on your camera. I'm like talking to them. So don't think that I'm gone crazy and saying, you're laughing, Amoganam and Lakshmi and so forth. I'm watching people here. So anyway, when the family is not in Krishna consciousness, then that leads to attachment. What happens after attachment? That leads to delusion. What happens to the delusion? That delusions will give us a false identification of I am this body, this is my wife, this is my daughter, this is my mother, that is my so and so, and this is my car, this is my house. Everything becomes aham and mama. Everything belongs to me. And what leads to that one? Unfortunately, that leads to the repeated pool of material existence, bhava-sāgara samsāra. The samsara, we keep repeating into birth into the samsara. Then all his family members are like whirlpool, crocodile, shark, and all those different aquatics living in this ocean, always trying to eat us, always devour us. Next one. Saṃsārākhyē, called the samsara. This is called the samsara. Saṃsārākhyē, mahati. Mahati means vast, huge, great, big. Mahati means great, very big, very huge. Jaladhau, this is not a small pond, big ocean. Majjatāṃ, majjatāṃ we already saw in previous sloka also. Majjatāṃ means going deeper or drowning, going further down. Saṃsārākhyē mahati jaladhau majjatāṃ naha. Saṃsārākhyē mahati jaladhau majjatāṃ naha means we are drowning in this vast ocean called samsara. In this ocean called samsara. Therefore, we should understand when we are in the good association of the devotees, then we are able to easily raise up and escape by getting into the boat called bhakti. If you are not, then it is very difficult. And what will happen to us, we'll be focusing only on accumulating wealth for satisfying our tṛṣṇā-tōyē, in the thirst to satisfy our thirst called desire. Kāte kāntā dhanagata chintam vātula kim tava nāsti niyantā trijagati sajjana sangati reka bhavati bhavarnavatarane nauka. Beautiful sloka again in Bhaja Govindam Adi Shankaracharya. He says, oh madman, you guys are mad. You're just running behind satisfying your senses and accumulating wealth. Less you are understanding, the senses are going to break down one day. Break down one day. And your wealth are going to be taken away by your friends and relatives and family members. If not, the government will take away. It's going to be gone one day. And you're working so hard for that which is going to break away one day, and that which is going to be taken away one day. What foolish you are. Don't you have anyone to advise you? This is a beautiful point. Don't you have kim tava nasti niyantā Vātula kim tava nasti niyantā. Don't you have someone to give you a good advice and guide you what life means? Don't you have anyone? Maybe there are people, but you're not taking advantage of those people, right? There is only one thing in this three words. Trijagati sajjana sangati reka. There's only one thing that in this three world, wherever you run, there's only one thing that can save you. What that is? From this ocean of samsara, bhavati bhavarnava tarane nauka. There's only one thing that can save in this world. Sajjana sankati reka. That is only one thing is satsanga, the association of the devotees, the association of the family which is in Krishna consciousness. When we have a family which is in Krishna consciousness, then our life will become very easy to cross over. What beautifully Adi Shankara says in Kate Kanta Dhanagata Chinta Vatula Kinta Vanasi Niyanta Trijagati Sajjana Sankatereka Bhavati Bhavanavatarane Nauka. In the same line, Kulashekara is also saying the same thing. When you have the family which is anukulam, then you are in the right track, you will cross over. When the family is not, then it's very challenging. What do you do? Because among devotees also, we could have situations where some families are favorable, some families are not favorable, unfavorable. So don't get depressed and just think that I'm gone. Just move on with your life of what you have to do. Doesn't matter. If, you cannot save everyone. It's not going to be possible. We are not. We just have to. When we try our best, if not, just keep moving. Do not delay any further. Next, Tridhanam means, oh Lord. Tridhamam. Yeah, Tridhamam means the Lord who's in three worlds. Three worlds. He is in Sri Vaikunta, he is in the Milky Ocean, and he is in this world in the Archa form. In the deity form. So that means Āḻvār, you are in three world, he is everywhere. But for us to understand, he is telling this one, you are in Sri Vaikunta, where I don't know when I'm going to come, when I'm going to see, and you are in the Milky Ocean. I don't have access, the Devatas have access, and the only thing I have access is in the temples, in the hills and different places. Tirumala, Devasthana, or Sri Rangam, or in Puri Jagannatha, Ayodhya, Vrindavana, and all this Kanchipuram, all the different wonderful places are there where you're standing there. Oh Tridhamana, oh Lord of three world, Padha to the feet, Ambuja, Pādāmbhōjē, your feet which is like lotus flower, Varada, this is another beautiful name, Varada, Varadatati iti Varadaha. One who gives all benediction to his devotees called Varada. Tridhama and Varada, two names are being used here in the Sloka. Tridhama, Varada. The Tridhama who lives in these places, and also your Varada who can give all benediction, Bhavataha, of your good self, of you, bhakti-nāvam. Bhakti-nāvam, Potha means boat, Nava means boat also. Bhaktināvaṃ prayaccha. Please bestow me that boat called bhakti. Give me that bhakti. Tridhaman pādāmbhōjē varada bhavata bhaktināvaṃ prayaccha. O Lord of the three worlds, O giver of boons, please grant us the boat of devotion to your lotus feet. tṛṣṇā-tōyē madana-pavanoddhūtamōhōrmimālē dārāvartē tanayasahajagrāhasaṃghākulē saṃsārākhyē mahati jaladhau majjatāṃ nastridhāman pādāmbhōjē varada bhavatō bhaktināvaṃ prayaccha. So in this verse, Āḻvār describes the terrors. If we have to be terrified to understand we are in this ocean which is filled with this dangerous aquatics, this saṃsāra. Therefore, he prays to Ranganatha, as we know, Kulashekara is great devotee of Ranganatha, wanting to be blessed with a boat called Bhakti, so that this Bhakti can cross over him from this trouble-giving water, the ocean of saṃsāra. So here the ocean is compared to our existence of this world. Ocean and our existence. Family members or those things which is living in the waters. Therefore, please give me bhakti. So in Bhagavad Gita also, Arjuna, who was bewildered at one point of time, he was also, in the very first time he got worried. What is he going to do? Whether to fight or not fight. And second time he got worried whether he is considered to be a devotee or non-devotee. In the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna was explaining who are the devas, who are the asura. Deva asura vibhaham yoga. That chapter, beautiful chapter. It tells about how to identify the devas, how to identify the asuras. According to Arjuna, asuras means they should have a long teeth and then horns and red ball eyes. Things like that. But Krishna changed the idea. No, no, no. That person can be the most beautiful person, but their character defines whether they are Deva or Asura. So Krishna gave many, many things over there. He simply says how to identify Deva and Asura. One who follows the Shastra Vidhi. Yes, Shastra Vidhim Utsrijya Vartate Kama Kartah. One who follows the Shastra Vidhi, they are Devas. One who doesn't follow the Shastra Vidhi, they are called Asuras. Even if they follow in the name of devotion, whatever they want to do, if it is not as per the Shastra, for example, Ekadeshi, today is Ekadeshi, but today is also working day, right? So someone may decide, working day I cannot fast. Instead of today, I will fast on a weekend. They're fasting. Not that they're not fasting. They're going to fast, they will fast, but not today, but on a weekend. For another example, every day we have to chant 16 rounds, minimum 16 rounds. A person decided, well, today my schedule is so very busy. Therefore, I will chant 1 round today and 15 rounds I'll carry over and do it over tomorrow. Because tomorrow workload is less. Therefore, I'll do it tomorrow. So 16 plus 15, 31 rounds I'll do it tomorrow. So what Krishna is saying is, if you're not following the Shastras and instruction of Acharyas and Gurus, then you're not Deva, they are Asura. This is heavy word. And we should take it very seriously that it implies to every one of us who are practicing Krishna consciousness also. So, Ekadeshi, we have to fast. We cannot just, this is not optional for devotees to not fast on Ekadeshi. It's must that everyone should fast, whether you're devotee or non-devotee, whether you're devotee in Krishna consciousness or you're devotee of some other consciousness, Ekadeshi is meant to be done. One has to follow Ekadeshi very strictly. Therefore, Krishna very clearly says that those who are following the Shastra Vidhi, they are Devas, and those who doesn't are Asuras. And then Arjuna asks a question, how do you know I fall into Deva category? Arjuna asked this question back to Krishna. And Krishna said, well, you've been listening to my lecture for past 15 chapters. If you are not, you would have gone long back. If you're listening for my lecture for 15 chapters, you have an interest to hear, that means you are a Deva Guna. If you don't want to hear, if you feel, oh my God, this is too much for me, I cannot hear this one. He's talking about himself so much. Krishna talks about himself so much, right? He's talking only about me, nothing about me. He's talking about only about himself, nothing about me. Therefore, I don't want to hear anything which is nothing to do with me. Especially if you talk about others, others are happy to hear. If you're going to keep on talk about me, how great I am, I can sit here and keep hearing for another 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours and continue to hear because you're talking about me, how great I am. But if you're going to talk about another colleague of mine, another devotee of mine, another devotee, then it's just a painful for my ears. It's quite painful. Sometimes I even get bleedings out of my ears when someone is getting praised. That is why, Arjuna, you are not getting bleeding in your ears when I spoke about myself, my greatness. Therefore, you are devotee. Therefore, you're devotee. Therefore, when we are in the association of devotees, we cultivate these good qualities, and within the family members, we spend time in Krishna consciousness. When we spend time in Krishna consciousness, our attachment becomes beyond the bodily attachment. It is to Atma. We become Atma Bandhu. Right now, mostly it is Sharira Bandhu. I'm married to this man. Our children is this one. But when we put Krishna into the center, then everything changes. The dynamics of the house changes. Therefore, my dear Krishna, my situation in such a way that I'm filled with this aquatic animal, dangerous wild aquatic animals like shark, crocodile, and dangerous animals. And also there are whirlpool here, which is pulling me down. My dear Krishna, kindly please send me the boat of bhakti. Send me the boat of bhakti. And this is an important point that we need to understand. We may think that I am doing bhakti. I am already doing bhakti. But what we are doing is not really bhakti. We are just doing something. But what Krishna is telling over here and what Āḻvār is telling is that ananya bhakti, achanchala bhakti, that bhakti which is not mixed with any other motive. I'm doing bhakti so that you can keep my life properly, happily, prosperously, healthy, wealthy in this world. Therefore, I'm doing bhakti. That shouldn't be the program. I'm just doing the bhakti for satisfying Krishna. And that type of bhakti, Krishna, you give me. This is the point. In the sloka, what he's asking is, Krishna, you give me. There's a beautiful metaphor has been given. If you want to tie an elephant, we cannot tie the elephant unless and until the elephant gives the chain, the iron chain, to be tied. In the temple, what happens is that in southern India, there are temples where there will be elephants. Elephants will be standing. When the elephant wants to be, the caretaker of the elephant needs to take the elephant out to rest or to eat. Then what he has to do is, he has to get the elephant, but taking the elephant, there will be a shackle, there's an iron. That iron will be, iron shackle chain will be heavy. You cannot just carry. This man cannot carry. Guess who is going to carry? Elephant. The elephant will carry that. Once it goes to a destination, the elephant will give the chain to the caretaker, meaning telling that you tie this down to me. This is quite interesting. Who will ever do this one? But that chain is bhakti, and that elephant is Krishna, and the caretaker, so-called caretaker, is a bhakta. That person, the person can do bhakti when Krishna gives that bhakti to him. Therefore, Krishna, that bhakti, now the bhakti that I have is not a pure bhakti. That bhakti only you can give Krishna. Kanninun chiruttambinal kattunda panniya perumayan yennappanil. There's a beautiful pasuram by Madana-kavi Āḻvār. And of 12 Āḻvārs, one of the Āḻvārs, Madana-kavi Āḻvār. Madana-kavi Āḻvār is a disciple of Namma-Āḻvār. And then Madana-kavi Āḻvār says, Kanninum chiruttambinal kattunna panniya perumayan. He says, Perumayan, oh great Lord, Paratpara, Paravara, the great Lord, who's been tied by a rope around his waist. You can understand what Leela is. Yes, Damodar Leela. Damodar Leela. This is what is Kanninun chiruttambinal. Chiruttambina means a thin lined a rope. Kanninun chiruttambina. Kattunna panniya perumayan means he allowed himself to be bound. He allowed himself. Not that Yashoda bound him. He allowed himself to Yashoda to bind him. He gave the permission. Like the elephant takes the shackle of this, the iron chain, and gives to this man, that you now bind me, tie me. So therefore, Āḻvār in the same mood is telling that, my dear Lord, tṛṣṇā-tōyē madana-pavanoddhūtamōhōrmimālē dārāvartē tanayasahajagrāhasaṃghākulē saṃsārākhyē mahati jaladhau majjatāṃ nastridhāman pādāmbhōjē varada bhavatō bhaktināvaṃ prayaccha. My dear Krishna, I am just in a miserable condition. Please quickly send me the boat called Bhakti so I can easily cross over this and come to your lotus feet. Varada, my dear Lord, you just give that boon. Reminding Krishna, your name is Varada, give me that boon. That is the sloka for today. And what's going to happen next is, Āḻvār is going to tell with what are the things that one should not associate with. Rather than telling what are the things one should associate with, that is going to tell in the next sloka, there are certain things which we should not be associating with. And let's see what that tomorrow. Āḻvār Tiruvadigalē Sharanam. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.